Hey guys, thanks for checking out the podcast. Before we get started, I want to remind you about the very cool bucket list trip I am doing in 2026, the Smitty Learns Irish podcast, where I'm going to do my bucket list, hike Ireland for a year, learn about Irish history, town by town, through the mouths of the pub owners and regulars. Because what's a better way to learn about something you love than to experience it yourself? Patreon.com/we3Smiths, only $3 a month, and thanks for checking it out.
No, you guys are spectacular.
Spectacular.
What the hell's going on, Michael Stevens and December Lee? How are you?
Spectacular.
Hello.
Hi. How are you guys?
What's going?
You guys both seem awake and chipper for
Back to our normal shift for me.
Thursday. Cheers.
Thursday.
nice?
We're almost to Friday.
December is on Zoom again because the roads were shit again.
Again.
Every time we want to record.
Thanks, Michael Stevens.
But hey, we did see it. I did see it on this fantastic new weather app from 9 and 10 that is super responsive and really easy to use for like an idiot like me. It took me about 2.3 minutes to figure it out. So, you know, just let you know, really easy, nice local
It's
weather
great.
app.
I love it.
Great plug. Great plug. Love you too.
I had to do that.
Yeah, thank you.
You betcha. Opening Rock and Roll Minds, we will
Yes.
review 3 albums. We'll review albums from the Wanton Bishops-Gojira and Panic at the Disco, and we will also be giving a full album reaction and review to the brand new Ozzy album, Patient Number 9.
Yes.
Does that sound like fun, guys?
Sounds like a fabulous time. I can't wait.
And you know what's
Spectacular.
even better?
What?
Yeah.
That we have people from Ireland saying, great crack. Great crack. It's crack. That's how you say that. It's the Irish slang for like a good fucking time.
Oh, really?
I was on the last podcast. We had that comment.
Crack
Made
it
me
up.
fucking happy.
Yeah, we're kind of a big deal.
I mean, hey, that's my stomping grounds. I'm half Irish.
Big deal now.
I'm half
know
Irish
yet.
and half Czech.
I don't know yet. I'm gonna find out at some point.
What? You don't know how much Irish you are?
No,
Really?
I have no clue. I've never wanted to know how. I've never wanted to know my lineage
Why?
because I just never cared. But I'm going to find out.
December.
hope-
What are you, December?
I am German and Irish.
German and Irish.
Can't
Yes.
see that at all.
I'm Czech.
Not at all.
Czech.
Not at all.
Not at all. I am Czech, Irish, French, and English.
I have no clue. I have all kinds of shit in me.
But my grandma's parents were right off the boat from Czechoslovakia. And then my grandpa, Tallfree, there you go. Tallfree already tells you Irish. And then my grandma's maiden name is Corbett. There's the French.
I mean, I know
But
I
Stevens
have.
is English.
I know I have some sort of like. There's got to be some Northern European something in there because I have way too much red hair in my family.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
That's not. You're not wrong.
That. See, I have eyebrows that don't show up unless I have a red face. That's how I know I'm Irish or Czech.
Don't get him sunburned. It just pops.
Yeah. Checking
True
my
story.
Hawaii photos. Like, I was just red, but my
pops.
eyebrows just popped. They're like, you have
Popping.
eyebrows. I was like, yes. Yes, I do.
They're there.
They're there.
All right. Let's get the worst one out of the way, I think. And that's only because we got
I
a little.
thought she would enjoy it.
We got a little spoiler alert before recording.
We asked her what her least favorite song was. She said the entire album.
Except one. Come
Now,
on. I
now,
have
see,
one.
if
No.
you didn't have to pick a highlight, December, would you have picked a highlight?
Yeah.
Would the whole album have been lowlights?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely, I would have.
I just want you to know this is one of the biggest bands in the world, by the way.
I don't care.
Well, there's only
I
one guy
don't
left in the band.
Just to clarify, Michael gave December the debut album from Panic at the Disco, Build God, Then We'll Talk.
That's her favorite
No, wait,
song.
that's the fucking song.
That's
so
my favorite song.
Fever You Can't Sweat Out is
that's
the
the
album.
one.
Yeah.
That's
So their
the one.
debut album, way back in 2004-ish? Something.
Five.
5. There you go. Yeah.
2005.
How'd that,
Yeah.
how'd that feel?
It felt repetitive and like nails on chalkboard.
Why?
Yeah. Explain.
Yeah.
Why?
So, okay, I'm going to tell you why I thought you'd like it. It is very much a vaudeville punk pop kind of go with it. It is, a lot of kids labeled it as that emo, that punk pop emo, but they ran with a whole vaudeville act with it.
I didn't get the vaudeville part of it.
Okay.
Like the last 3 songs.
Like the song you liked is like the main vaudeville song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I did. I loved that song, but all the rest of them, I'm like, okay, is this a different song? Oh, it is a different song, but it sounds the same as the song before.
Yeah.
And then as the singer kept going, I am like, shut the fuck up.
Wow.
Shut the fuck up.
Brendan Urie, if you hear this.
I'm sure you're a very splendid human being, but on this album, your voice was like nails on a chalkboard.
Now, here's a question.
Yeah.
Here's a question. How much Panic at the Disco have you been aware of before?
Yeah, did you hear any of these songs, or could you recall any of these songs that you heard?
Not necessarily these songs, but just other songs from Panic at the Disco.
Yes. So I know of Panic at the Disco when they had a song on Rock Band.
Yes.
Because we used to play the shit out
I
of
think
Rock
that
Band.
one was 3 or 9 a.m. That was from their second album, I believe. That was all Beatles, like they went a complete different direction.
My son loved it.
Yeah.
He bought the CD at the time.
It was a bad CD.
I listened to that a few times and it was good.
Oof.
This, I was like, what is this?
All right.
Like, it's like the same.
Obtained.
And like I said, I didn't get the vaudeville part to like the last 3 songs. And I was like, oh. There it is.
Oh.
Got it.
Got it. All right.
I want to punch you in the face, but I got it.
Noted. All right.
How?
So should we just pick a random song off it? So for her dislike.
Perfect.
So let's listen to just any song for the lowlight will do. Apparently,
Introduction is just an intro.
What sounds like the most fucking fun? Let's start with number 2. Let's do number 2. The only difference between
A Martyrdom and it's the only difference
and
between
Suicide
Martyrdom
is
and Suicide
press
is press coverage.
Okay. Let's play a little snip of that.
Sit tight, I'm gonna need you to keep time. Come on, just snap your feet.
I mean, it is that. Honestly, I did some reactions today, and I want to say Arcane Roots. I think I actually made it a point on the reaction video to talk about bringing up that band Arcane Roots to you today.
Oh, really?
Because there was a pop punk or an emo punk sort of vibe to it. A little hard rock edge is pretty fucking fun. But it's not that when a lot of times I'm predisposed to hate that sound.
Right.
Because it's just, but just finding some of them grate on me more. You know what I mean?
No,
some
I
of them
totally
I
get
can
it,
pick the music out more. His voice is just like always for me.
Really?
It's been, oh no.
I mean, I will say this first album, his voice is standing out way more than any of the other music. Like if you listen to the mix of it, yes, Brendan Urie, but he is the most talented in the band. But the only reason why he's the only one left in the band. After the second album, they all broke up. And he continued on with Panic at the Disco, even though it wasn't technically his band. And then last album before their new one, which is like a 70s rock album, which was super weird. But they had super poppy. He turned it into more of a pop band than it was a pop punk or rock band. This was their intro album though. They're from Vegas, and Fall Out Boy, the bassist from Fall Out Boy, found them and signed them. And this was their first album, which just smoked the charts.
Like I would say way less than 10 years ago on the radio. If I were on the radio and you were to tell me that Fall Out Boy discovered a band, I would be like, I'm not listening to that fucking band ever.
I would tell you this right now. Pete Wentz, the bassist for Fall Out Boy, he had his own label, and he's some of your favorite bands or some of the music you like, he has signed them. Because they're all metalheads. Yeah. And just in a pop punk band, which is super. I mean, that's how a lot of it.
Oh, I don't even mean. What I'm saying is like back then,
right?
When I was an a-hole on the radio talking shit. I mean, now I'd probably still be like, I don't know if I want to.
Compared to an a-hole talking shit on the internet.
On the internet, yeah.
Yes, it's a difference.
It's a difference.
Sit tight, I'm gonna need you to keep time. Come on, just snap, snap, snap your fingers for me. Good, good, now we're making some progress. Come on, just tap, tap, tap your toes to the beat. And I believe this may call for a proper introduction.
She just doesn't enjoy a good beat.
This is fucking groovy, though.
It is.
You know?
It's just a prologue.
I have a habit of honing in on like the vocals. So
Honing-
if you have very good vocals, then I'm even more interested. This guy's voice, I'm just like, ugh.
So you didn't like Brendan Urie's vocals?
No, I did not. I
Wow.
did not, because it was always the same. It was
Right. I get the monotone feel. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Completely understand.
you know, like I get, like, give me some more, give me some feeling, give me something. Don't just sing words on a paper. Give me
Right. And to
you
be
got shit going on, obviously, to sing like this.
right, and to be completely fair, I'll give you that, because I mean, the reason I say or said, "Oh, you didn't like his voice," is because he is the only person that Queen, other than their lead singer, has actually said you covered our Bohemian Rhapsody well. He did it live.
Yeah.
So there's a live Bohemian Rhapsody he does. It's
Oh,
just
really?
absolutely insane. But he has such a good voice. But to be fair, he's had 20 years to really work his voice
Right.
and find a feel
Right.
for it. This was their
Right.
first album, so it is when he's doing that rapping and fast singing, if you will.
Yeah.
I always call it more of a rap, but yes, it is very monotone. It is that
Yeah.
very monotone. Totally 100%. Get it. Got it. And when you hone in on vocals, yeah, that would make for a shitty album.
Get it. Got it. Check.
Checked. Got it. Okay.
So, I mean, like, how much were you able to get past the vocals on some of the music? Like, was some of the music good, or?
Yeah, I mean, like, well, it started off, it was very repetitive. I feel like it was, a lot of it was the same beat, the same, like one song just kind of blended into another, and I don't know what I had no expectations, because like I said, the
Right.
only thing I've heard of them is from frickin' Rock Band.
Right.
So, but I was just like, all of this talk about them, I wanted more. Like, I didn't
Right.
want just like a carbon copy thing, beat, dit. And like you said, the only thing that changed was like, or there were some songs that started off like the same, but then they had a break
Mhm.
where there was like a minute left where they veered off and I was like, oh, hey, now if you would have done
This.
the whole song like this,
Yeah.
this would have been fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But I just like the repetitiveness of it. And like I said, one song just kind of melded into another, and I'm just like, and then with his
That's a great.
Charlie Brown, man.
That's a great
Wah,
impersonation.
wah, wah,
It's a great
wah.
impression. So, all right. So you literally said, aside from the highlight, which is the last song on the album, "Build God, Then We'll Talk." Aside from the highlight, the rest of the album were lowlights. So I want to know, like, what made this song stand out so much?
it was different. Like it was different. You really got that vaudeville, like you felt. I guess I did have expectations going into it, because when you told me it was like a vaudeville type of and
Yeah,
from a
I
cover
did,
album and
yeah.
all of that, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna love it,
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of like Go Bordel, Go
Right.
or whatever the fuck it was that I
Yeah,
gave
that
you, the
band.
Hello one, the Gypsy Band.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome, and it wasn't.
Well, it's honestly-
yeah, I might have fooled you. Might have fooled you.
It's kind of impressive that, like, you made it through the whole album hating
Right.
everything, and then made it to the
Last song, which is
end
their
and
best.
was able to find some kind of like nugget in there,
Right.
Because there's
I did.
albums. Even I bet you, like, if it were the Steel Panther album, and I'm hating the whole fucking thing, and I get to the last song, and all of a sudden it is a gem like fucking Master of Puppets or something, and then would I be able to still enjoy it? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
And I did.
I
and
actually think you would be able to, though. From my center of thinking, if you go through a whole album,
But let's just say,
and then
Steel
finally
Panther
you
is
hit a
not
song.
making that song.
No, But if you finally get to like, if you go through the entire album that is just, you know, hitting your not good nerve, and then all of a sudden there's a good song at the end, I feel like that would be like, oh, okay, cool. I found a shining light. Cool. I'm done with this album.
Yeah.
You know, I think it would actually be kind of the opposite of what you would react to. But would I make it there? I'm one to just say, like, I'll just turn it off. I'm surprised you didn't do that.
I'm a very start to finish type of person.
Okay.
I feel incomplete if I don't finish something. So I'm like, I gotta suck it up. I gotta stick this out. And I listened to it 3 times. I tortured myself 3 times.
You guys,
Just for me.
you guys are the best. You guys are just the best.
3 times.
You know?
To make sure
That's
I
hilarious.
didn't like, was I in a bad mood when I was listening
You're right.
to it
Yeah.
this time?
It's sometimes albums,
Fun.
100%. Sometimes albums are a mood. Like there's a certain vibe to certain albums where you can't listen to it unless you're in a certain mood. So I get that 100%. Good on you, December. Good on you.
All right.
Thank you for giving it a try.
Do you want to play the highlight? Build God, then we'll talk?
Yes, it's good. It's good. I like it. Yes,
Okay.
please.
All right, let's do that now.
It's the substandard motels on the La 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 corner of 4th and Fremont. Straight appealing only cause they're just that unappealing. In practice, Catholic force themselves upon entering. The rooms have a hint of asbestos and maybe just a dash of formaldehyde. And the habit of decomposing right before your very eyes. Along with the people inside. What a wonderful caricature of intimacy inside. What a wonderful caricature of intimacy. Tonight's an inch range from a lawyer and a virgin. Since rising with a rosary tucked inside her lingerie. She's getting a job at the firm come Monday. The missus will stay with the cheating attorney. Moonlighting aside, she really means this money. A wonderful caricature of intimacy. Yeah. Not to mention the constable and his proposition for that virgin. Yes, the one the lawyer met with on
Strictly Business.
as he said to the missus. Well, only hours before, after he had left, she was fixing her face in a compact. There was a terrible crash. There was a terrible crash between.
I'm trying to figure this song out.
That's why I like it.
I'm trying to figure it out. It's because I get the vaudeville vibe that you mentioned, but I don't. It's not prevalent to me. Like it's not like
I think-
I wouldn't hear it and go, oh, it sounds vaudevillian or something like that.
It's very cohesive, like I said, with the 2 songs ahead of it. Like it kind of like ties those last 3 songs together.
So the
But
other thing why I might say is vaudeville is because they tied this to a whole vaudeville show. Their first tour, they played this to like a whole vaudeville
Really?
show that they were on stage.
Really?
And like it works great. I was like, oh wow, this was like one of my probably 4th or 5th concert in my life, and I was like, oh wow, this is actually very cool. It's like a theater production with a concert, and you didn't get that. And they had other bands that were even more vaudeville-y, and I was like, wow, I've never been a part of something like this. And it was funny because the crowd was there for these radio hits, not necessarily a vaudeville act, and they ate it up. And that's maybe why I associate it with vaudeville, is just because, I mean, I do hear, like this song in particular, there are that kind of, it reminds me of vaudeville back in the old days of just that going back and forth, but also the story of it.
Okay.
Like if you listen to the lyrics, like it's a very
I'm
theater
trying.
story.
It's almost kind of like a herky jerky sort of delivery,
Right.
You know, like a chunky herky jerky sort of thing.
It's like somebody's literally reading a short story right off the page and not making it right for music, just reading it right off the page.
Her and the bed, she spilled her purse on her back and held the purse of a different kind. With the people inside, what a wonderful caricature.
But they also have organs, they have accordions, they have bands.
There was
Can't
some
hear 'em
really
well, but
there was some real dirty gnarliness in there at the beginning of the song, just chonk chonk. That I
Yeah.
wish they would have
Yeah.
revisited, and I don't think they have yet.
No, and they won't.
That's what caught my attention in that song is that raw, chunky.
Yeah.
For all the stains and a few more of your least favorite things. Raindrops on roses and girls in white dresses and sleeping with roaches and taking best chances of the sheets. And before all the stains and a few more of your least favorite things. Inside, what a wonderful caricature of intimacy. Inside, what a wonderful caricature of intimacy.
And then they have strings out of nowhere. I'm a sucker for a good cello. I am.
You can see Michael at the orchestra, at the symphony orchestra. Fucking,
Right?
fucking yeah, cello!
More cello!
No, seriously, like when they did the cellos and they did Metallica.
Oh no, it's great.
Oh
I
my
love it.
god, dude! And then,
Yeah.
have you guys watched Wednesday?
Yes,
on
it's
Netflix?
awesome. Oh, you need to
Oh,
watch it. It's all
watch
about
it.
it's all about this, like your black heart.
Oh yes, it's a Tim Burton take on like a CW teen show, but made it Wednesday Addams.
Really? Because
Oh.
here's how I think of it. I think of Wednesday as like the Addams Family version of like Harry Potter.
Oh, okay, I could see that.
You know what I mean?
I could definitely see that.
It's
right.
100%. Like that's exactly
Yeah.
what it is to me. Just that weird off kilter fucking vampires, werewolves kind of thing, but it's Harry Potter at school
Right.
with like
Right.
cliques and things of like different. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I just feel like it's a CW show.
Okay.
But Danny Elfman does the soundtrack, and he does so much
okay.
cello work. It's so good. So good.
Yeah, cello.
Yeah, cello.
Hey, or you turn it upside down. Cello, you got a bass.
Slap at the bass.
Roses and the girls in white dresses and sleeping with the roaches and the taking best chances of the sheets. And before all the stains and a few more of your least favorite things.
And see, they didn't leave you with a bad song at the end of the album.
I didn't hate
They
that.
didn't break the golden rule.
I didn't hate
No,
that song at all.
No, it's a good song, but again, they were also heavily influenced by the Beatles. Their guitarist was,
Yeah.
and so you hear that Beatles distortion. You
Right
know,
on.
Yeah.
it's not the chunky chunk that you hear at the beginning,
Right.
but you hear the Beatles distortion. And the second album, to be quite honest with you, I hate, but they went straight Beatles.
I feel like
harder than the Beatles.
Didn't you give me
Yeah.
a Panic at the Disco album before?
No, I gave you
You gave me a lot of
a
emo.
lot of emo. My categories are a lot of emo.
I know.
I gave you Taking Back Sunday.
Oh yeah,
That's
There was
right.
another one too.
Yeah,
there was another one.
That was another one. But they're
So
more of a
December,
rock band.
would you give that any December thumbs up?
No,
No,
No.
sorry,
All right.
no.
that's my first stinker to December. It's all right. I've given him a stinker, and I've
That's
given you a
all right.
stinker.
They all can't be a winner.
No, they all can't be.
All right. Next,
Gojira.
the album From Mars to Sirius from Gojira. I give that to Michael.
Yes.
This whole album review podcast is going to be me giving you albums I reacted to. That's all it's going to be.
So, had you heard? How long have you known Gojira?
I mean, I've known of them for a while.
Right.
I've heard a couple songs
Okay.
before, but I'm really starting to get into them now, obviously.
So Gojira, I knew of.
Gojira.
Gojira.
I think it's
like
Gojira.
Godzilla.
It's Gojira.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
Gojira. So I knew of them when Ozfest was kicking around in early 2000s, because they were a mainstay on a lot of those tours and a lot of those bands that I
Yeah.
liked. And I had known of Gojira. I'd never actually listened to an entire album of them. I knew their songs. So it was nice to sit down and listen to this album. And I'm glad I got one of their first albums. I believe this is their first album.
No.
Second album?
This is.
I think
I
it's
can
their
tell you in
second
a
album.
moment.
But yeah, it was I loved it. I loved it a lot. But
It's fucking great, man. The
Oh.
no, that is their third album.
Third
Excuse me. Yeah, third
Okay.
album.
But look at they did one in 2003, 2004, 2005. 3 albums in 3 years.
Yeah.
Good God.
Well, one is a live album.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So they had Terra Incognita, they had The Link, and then From Mars to Sirius.
So I feel like a third album is like when bands are kind of either way out of where they started or they're just getting in their groove.
Yeah,
and I think they're in their groove here.
To me, the third album has to be kind of like, or it doesn't have to be, but you've worked kind of on your sound for 2 albums. The first one you kind of were just, that was what you were, and then the second one you kind of polished it, kind of refined a little bit. But the third one you have your formula for what you want to do.
And so, running down the song tracks, I had Ocean Planet right off the Ocean Planet, Backbone, and From the Sky rip. So there are 3 songs right there: Ocean Planet, Backbone, and From the Sky.
Okay.
First 3 songs on the album just rip your face off. Like there's no stop, and it's great. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm into this. Now Gojira has a very particular sound that I could not put my thumb on until like halfway through the album. They hit you with some of the most face-melting, crispy, crunchy riffs ever. But then they hit you with harmonies, and it's like, holy shit, where the hell did this come from? And it's like, I put it this way. It's like you're sliding on ice, and you think you're going right in that ditch, and all of a sudden you hit a patch of pavement, put you right back in there. I was like, all right, cool, I'm good. And then you just do it again.
Because the heaviness, honestly, it's like destruction.
Oh, yeah.
It's like destruction.
And then all of a sudden they pull into the, oh, cool, we're just going along.
It's so good, the way that they craft
it's
their
so good.
songs with so many layers, the musicianship, the drums, everything is out of this planet.
But yeah, there's no letdown. A lot of switch ups too, which I was really happy for. But okay, so no letdown those first 3 songs. The 4th song, I put not so much scream that I hate it, and also great instrumental placements. So I'm with you in a lot of thing where if it's just growl, 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 I can't stand it. But like there was just enough of it that it didn't push me over the edge, which I was like, cool, okay. And then they kind of jerk you back into the center lane. But right after the 3rd song, there's an instrumental, and it's called Unicorn. Nice little instrumental break. After you just rip your face off for 3 songs, you get this nice little break, and then you're back into ripping your faces. That Unicorn song was perfectly placed. It's a breather. And it was so well, like I'm not one for having an instrumental break in an album.
Because see, I'm the opposite. Especially for like the bands that I love.
Right.
I love to hear instrumentals. I love to hear breaks, especially if they're done well.
Right.
And cleverly placed in an album.
I just don't like the 30 seconds. I was like, you didn't need to put that in there. Just give me the next song. But this was perfectly placed. It was like a good breather. I was like, okay, we're coming down. And then you just rip into the next one. And then back into smashing your face in with Where Dragons Dwell. That was a tremendous song. Hard and quick.
That's my favorite off of from them, period.
Oh, really? It was almost my favorite off this album, but I found a better placement for my favorite. My favorites again came, and my favorite and least favorite, only because I had to pick one, came at the end of the album. But Hard and Quick to change it up, love it. Sweet and sour, I called it, and that's kind of that. You get the sweet parts of the song, and then you get these sour, whether it's a screeching harmonic or you just get the just bashing, almost seems too heavy, and then all of a sudden it's sweet again. It's Sour Patch Kids. Sweet and then sour. Sour and then sweet.
I love them.
Okay.
It was crazy. End was like a crazy in your face PSA. There was like it sounded like oh man, I had it at the time I was listening to it. So like in like PSAs or like there's music or something where they're like they have some message that they're putting through to you. Anyway, the last minute of the song just reminds me of like a PSA where they're just trying to get something beat into your head. And I was just like, oh, it's a in-your-face PSA. But I loved it.
Well, all their music is honestly just so socially conscious and environmentally conscious. All their shit anyway is just a PSA.
Yeah,
it seems like.
Yeah. But epic slow fade. This is the first song on this album where they hit you with this epic slow fade. And I'm not talking about just some slow fade and then you're like 10 seconds the song is gone. I'm talking like a minute of just the song slowly
I remember
turning
what you're talking
down.
about. What song was it?
This one was Where Dragons Dwell.
Oh, yeah.
And then they have it on 4 other songs in the album. But they literally just like slowly go for a minute. And you can still hear it as it's going. I was like, that is the best slow fade I've ever heard in my life. I was like, there's no playing that at a live show. By any means, but they just let it go for like a minute. And I was like, that's a slow fade. Heaviest Matter in the Universe. Heavy, raw, dirty. Like, I just love that song. Reminds me of a more raw Pantera. And so what I meant by
that's
that,
a good way to describe it.
because like Pantera, you had a lot of technical, you had a lot of rough, but you had the technical, you had the rough, but it just felt more raw. And then, like,
Plus, there's the musicality with this band
Yes.
too. That I'm not saying Pantera didn't have, but it's
Right.
like, with these guys, it's so much more obvious.
Pantera could hit you with harmonies every now and then and like kind of drag you in. The thing is, these guys would bash your face in and then hit better harmonies. It's like, my God, like, what are you guys doing?
And their harmonies are consistent as
Very
well.
consistent.
Like, that's the other thing I look for is like consistency. Like, you can have like oh, hey, that was good, and then never have it again. But
right.
they're very consistent.
Very
with that.
consistent. They have moments of melody, but rip it into shreds and then just don't look back. Flying Whales is next. Great song. Loved it. Small jam session to start and into a gritty and up-tempo distortion. One of my favorites, but not my favorite.
I think that was either that or Silvera from the first album or something like that. Maybe one of the last albums was my first taste.
Was
Flying Whales and then another one were like my first taste.
A
of
great
Gojira,
taste.
yeah.
And that was almost my pick too. But I was like, there's one more. In the Wilderness picks up where Flying Whales left off. Just more ripping. Just when you think it's out of lane, they hit you with the major chords and harmonies and just bring it back. Again, this is where it clicked into me that Gojira has this very certain sound, and it just wants to rip you left or right. And all of a sudden, they hit you with these harmonies and just put you right back in the middle of the road.
Was this your highlight?
This was my highlight.
Let's save that till the end.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah. Ripping, major chords, harmonies. Yeah. My favorite. Another epic fade out though. This song has another 1 minute long epic fade out.
No, they do that, and I'm like,
and I love it.
I think during the reaction, I was just like, are they fading this fucking thing out again?
Yeah,
it's awesome, but they do it so well.
And they
it's
do.
just like it totally works, man, for like the vibe that they're creating.
More a world to come. Nice little intro. More majors and even some singing. This one, you actually get a taste of him actually singing, which was not bad at all. More. I'd say 97% more. You get him just kind of yelling and screaming and growling and all that stuff. But this one, they actually put some singing in there. Not bad at all. Where was I at? Well, yeah. From Mars, a little ditty and more reading and singing. This was my least favorite. Just because it was least favorite, I had to pick one. But this gave me Bowie vibes.
Really?
Yep. With all the space and stuff and whatnot, it gave me it gave me Bowie vibes.
All right, let's give it a listen. A little bit. Clippy clip. And they do trippy really well.
Oh yeah,
And
but it's
mixing
catchy
the
trippy.
trippy in with the heavy. The production too, because this shit is so crisp.
Yeah. Especially
well
back
produced.
in 02, 03, 04. Not an easy thing to do.
I just looked myself straight in the eye.
See, I'm with Bowie right now.
A little bit. I'm trying to remember what it reminded me of.
Move to higher place.
Is Gojira from America?
They're from France. They're French.
France? Okay.
Yeah.
I took my courage in both hands.
That's why it's Gojira.
Gojira. So yeah, that was pretty much the extent of that song. There's no ripping in that song by any means, but I get what they were doing with From Mars and Too Serious and how they're kind of making the opposites, if you will.
Yeah.
So Too Serious is next, and it's the exact opposite. Rip your face back into shredding and majors and wonderful song. So I mean, I understand what they were doing with From Mars, and I totally 100% love what they were doing there and that kind of compare and contrast, but just wasn't, well, it's my least favorite on the album. But again,
Right.
I love the album. back to the face melting 6/7 change-ups, which I absolutely love change-ups. Again, I'm a sucker for that in cellos. Absolutely love it. Another epic fade out with To Sirius. And then Global Warming, stellar last track. They did not break the golden rule by any means. Van Halen.
They did not have a shit last track.
No, I said Van Halen was here. It is entire tapping through the entire song, and it was just phenomenal. Tap, tap, tappy is what I put at the end.
Tap, tap, taparoo.
Tap, tap, taparoo. Go in your ball, go in your home ball. But yeah, it was a phenomenal album. Again, like I said, I've heard songs from Gojira, but I had never actually sat down and listened to an entire album from them. 2 thumbs up for me. That was the tremendous work. And if this is their third album, I'm gonna deep dive back in to see what the first and second look like and what their latest look like, because it's good, absolutely wonderful.
Well, let's play this. This is 7.5 minutes.
We don't have to play the entire
thing. I don't think
thing,
we'll play the whole thing. We'll play a couple minutes of it. I want to say maybe skip through, kind of get some highlights.
You'll understand the vibe.
Yeah,
halfway through. But see, like if
they do this thing.
If you listen carefully, there's a crunch in that background. Like if you have cans on, if you have headphones on, there's a crunch in the back there that has this note that goes. I've only heard Gojira hit constantly, and it's so mesmerizing for some reason, and I don't know why.
Well, they do this thing that's just like, I don't know what it is. I'm not a musician, but I think it is the pick up, the pick up on the pickup.
Oh, really?
Somewhere where it's like bleak.
Right.
It's like this high pitched sort of squeach thing, but it is 100% a Gojira thing.
So
like I've never heard anybody else do it like that.
The crunch, I mean, I understand when you're palm muting and you're tuned low, you're gonna get that crunch, you're gonna get the gent, you're gonna get that just chug. Totally 100% understand that. But there's this crunch in that chug that's in the back that if you can hear it, it's just somehow it's a note that I've never heard another band hit, which I don't know why.
I was gonna cleverly fade that up over you talking so I can get it.
Long fade up. Change up. But you can even hear the bass doing work in there too. It's well mixed.
It's very few and far between when I can hear bass in a metal song.
Right.
And where it really stands out. And I personally don't really get it from Gojira that much. Mm-hmm. For me, it's usually drums, guitar, but I never really hear the bass.
Really?
But that's just me. Sometimes I have a hard time picking out the bass.
Right. And I think this. Yep, that's that slide. And
What the fuck is that?
I think they're just sliding up a higher string, so it doesn't have nearly the chunk, but it has
scratching up it.
Yeah. But that double bass, I'm a sucker for double bass too, man. You can give me double bass all day. But it's right here where I think they introduced the harmonies, or the major notes. And it just brings you back.
Sounds like a storm.
Yeah.
Want to slam in. Man.
See right here. There's your major notes and harmonies. Just all over the place and then back into it.
And I'll catch this Now let's catch this fade out.
Yep, it's already starting to fade out here.
Yeah.
Minute 45
Honestly,
out.
it has been
Yeah.
from
2
like
minutes.
right here.
But I love the concept of this album. The concept of the album is kind of like traveling to plant to find if they can find a different home to call Earth, or what
I
we call
just
home.
love
But
it.
I love the fact that they have that story.
I just love it when I can hear good quality metal, like made by people that think,
Right.
rather than fucking.
Just thrash, no brain.
I'm gonna use a band like Five Finger Death Punch as an
Yeah,
example.
no, I totally get that, yeah.
I agree.
It's just like.
I would
what-
call Five Finger kind of like the sellout poser metal,
It's bro metal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to a lesser extent, and it's probably a snobby thing to say, but it is definitely like a lowest common denominator type of fucking heavy music that I want to listen to anyway. I love bands that fucking can think and just do different shit rather than go from point A to point B.
Right.
See what you can do in the middle there. You know what I mean? See what you can do to fucking do what you think sounds good, rather than what you think anybody else
Right.
wants
And I
you to
feel
fucking sound like.
Bands like Five Finger Death Punch have a formula.
Right.
And they stick
to
that
it no matter what.
formula.
Yep.
And,
And-
they don't veer from the formula.
Nope.
They don't explore new avenues.
Not
or
at all.
Try new things. Not at all. And I
Five
think
Finger
that's
Death Punch got famous off a cover, so every album after that they had a cover, and all their
That
songs
is
sounded
it.
the same. Yeah,
That is
Yeah.
it.
yeah,
It's very formula.
because they
driven.
Bad Company got them famous.
And I remember I liked it, and it was
It
one of those
was a good
instances-
it was a good cover, but the problem was they did the same thing to a cover every album after that, and all their music sounded the same.
Yep.
Which
Yeah.
they're the Nickelback of metal.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
You're
It's
not
true.
wrong. You're not wrong.
So yeah, 2 thumbs up for me. Loved it. By the way, that song's still fading out.
I know it is. Oh wait, did I kill it? I did kill it. Okay,
Just
Woo.
barely, but
Okay.
I mean, it's a 2.5 minute
It's
fade out.
It's
man.
really just
wild.
fading out for infinity.
And the thing is, you can hear it it's like you're watching somebody like walk away and they're saying stuff, and you can just barely hear them the entire way. It's like, what the hell is going on? But it was great. Loved it. 2 thumbs up for
Good,
me.
good.
And a toe.
Good. I do what I did. I was going to pull up band information for this reaction, and I forgot to do so yet. We're going to react to, or excuse me, review the album.
A
What's the name of this album?
wonton. A wonton soup.
What is the name of this album? Sleep with the Lights On is the name of the album.
Oh. I used to do
now,
that.
December, when you gave me this and you told me, I'm pretty sure you told me that it was Lebanese rock and roll, blues rock or something along those lines, right?
Yes.
So I was intrigued because I didn't know what to make of it before listening. I'm like, okay, well, is it going to be Lebanese American rock and roll? People that were from Lebanon but were raised in the United States, parents were immigrants or something like that.
Right.
No, these guys are from fucking Beirut, Lebanon.
Yep.
And I had to look that up on the road because when this song kicked in, I listened to this album twice. I listened to this album on the way to work. It was a 45-minute drive. I'm going to listen to this album.
Right.
You did it.
Then I listened to it again on the elliptical doing a run.
Oh, yeah. Where were you running?
I was running through Ireland
Nice.
with the Wanton Bishops as
The Wanton
my
Bishops.
as my soundtrack. But I was when it first kicked in, I really had to think about it because I'm like, it sounds the very beginning of the very first song sounds like it had like a little Middle Eastern tinge to, and I'm like, is that racist for me to hear Middle
No,
East? But other than that first moment, December, there was no other hint of fucking Middle Eastern music in there whatsoever, and it is honestly. Not only is it some of my favorite fucking blues rock that I've heard in a long time, the idea that it was a Lebanese band, not to say that
Is anything wrong with it?
Right.
nothing wrong with that, but it's
Right.
like it's a great example. Like British bands in the 60s and 70s that were doing blues.
Right.
And
Yep.
sounded like they should have been doing blues. There's bands that doesn't matter where the fuck you grew up, you can just feel
Yep.
fucking music. You know
Right.
what I mean? There's something so genuinely blues and fucking genuinely good, swampy, dirty rock and roll with this fucking
Yeah.
band. The only reason I picked a low light on this is because it was the last song and the fucking album had to end.
Oh yeah, I'm so glad you liked it. They're one of my favorites. I love them. I'm always, and on my way to work or in my headphones at work, whatever. I love them. I think they're great. I just think, and
How did you get turned on to this band?
I just happened across them on Spotify.
Really?
Really?
They're like, hey, you listen to, like
This.
I've
Right.
been in kind of like a bluegrassy type of wave lately, and they're
Yeah.
like, hey, you might like this, and I'm like, I might. Let's try it. And I was like, holy shit, I love it.
No, honestly, it is some of the it is some of the coolest, most like inventive, and I must stress, like genuine blues rock. There is not like a poser vibe to this. It does not sound like some band overseas trying to do blues.
Right. Or
It doesn't
someone
fucking
else.
sound like that shit. This is we'll play a clip of my low light, and again, only because it was the last song, which meant the album was ending.
Right.
Sun Rising is the low light, so we'll play a clip of that.
Ooh. I like hand claps.
I was gonna say I picked this shit just for you too.
They
I
know
picked
how to
that
sell
shit
a song.
just for you two for the fucking hand claps. I was
Yeah,
on the way
baby.
to work and I was going, Michael Stevens is gonna love this.
They got cello in here too.
I don't know.
This reminds me of a Doors tune right off the hop. The organ and the over distorted guitar.
I haven't listened to this with the headphones on yet. So it's like I can feel like I can hear like a tinge of like Middle Eastern instruments in there, but I don't even know what to
they're-
listen to.
It's almost you're playing the Middle Eastern notes on the organ, but that was about it.
No, this band reminds me of 2 December. I was thinking about it. What was that one that we did? Rock and Roll Roundtable, and you gave Michael an album, and I can't remember the name of the band, but it was the same band that played in like Dusk Till Dawn
Oh yeah, the
And, in
In
Tarantino movies and shit.
Yeah.
Hurry,
That's it.
hurry! What?
I can't think of it. I don't know. Yes,
can't remember either.
but yes,
yeah,
But
that
it
was good.
sounded, it reminded me of that band.
It very much does.
Yeah.
it's like that gritty, like raw, unpolished.
But the thing is, when you produce that right, it sounds so goddamn good.
I know. Let's keep this clip
Oh
going.
yeah.
No, it's
Like I died for you. Take the open wide, yeah. Listen to day, now.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the Doors.
it's had me fucking dancing in my car, man. So I mean, yeah, that was the low light, but the whole thing was just like, and each one was just a little different vibe. You know what I mean? None
Yeah.
of them sounded the same.
Right.
I didn't even like make a list of like track by track because I was listening when I was driving and when I was running. But everyone just had like a different vibe, but a different coolness. There was some swampy stuff. There
Right.
was some fucking. There was some country stuff almost. There was one. What was that one? It was called. That was really fun. It was Whoopee.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Whoopee, and there's an intro about 30 seconds to a minute or something that goes. It's the Whoopee intro, and then it goes into Whoopee. It was really fucking fun. It made me go
The
Whoopee.
name of that band that I gave Michael Stevens was Tito and the Tarantulas.
There
Tito
you
and the
go.
Tarantulas, Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, I enjoyed the shit out of this. We're gonna play the highlight to this, and it's "Sleep with the Lights On." Let's do the whole thing. This is what it sounded Middle Eastern to me, kicking off, and then I
Yeah,
just
there was a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
vocals, his voice is just so
It's fucking gritty.
like,
It's raw and
rich
gritty.
and gritty, and just like like he's been through some shit.
There's some bands that do this and you don't believe them.
Right.
You know, like you fucking
exactly.
believe these guys.
Right, and you're like, oh yeah, yep, okay.
It's like they mixed the Middle Eastern with country bluegrass rock. Like it's very yeah. Again, a band that where you think it should not work, but it just works perfectly for them.
Right.
This reminds me of I think the last album December gave me. I was like, this is again where you think it's something that shouldn't work, but they do it so well it works great. His voice actually reminds me of Johnny Cash would strain himself.
Yeah. It's so
Rather than Johnny just talking, like when he actually tries to sing or gets loud, it's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, I can see that.
Is this a 3-piece, a 4-piece?
Not
I
sure.
wonder how many guys I have.
think it's 4.
4. You know what I'm doing tonight? I'm gonna go look me up some Wanton Bishops on YouTube, watch some videos. Ooh, harmonica in there. Man, I can tell you what, I'm a sucker for gang vocals too. When you get just a whole room of people just like that, all for it, all for it. Ooh,
They are a duo.
a duo?
Nader Mansour, and I'm going to kill the pronunciation here, so I apologize. Nader Mansour on vocals, guitar, harmonica, and keyboards, and Eddie Gosen on guitar, backing vocals, and banjo.
Holy crap. I wonder how they do a live show then. We gotta have some traveling musicians. I like the finger drums. Whatever they're doing with the fingers on the drums is great.
This is why rock and roll is my greatest is the best fucking genre of all time. Because it's not saying that like hip hop can't make it overseas or country music can't make it overseas, but there's something about fucking rock and roll, man.
But the thing is, like, even with rock and roll necessarily isn't a sound or a category. It's a spirit, man. It's something deeper within music, and I don't mean to get like super deep here, but
Oh, this is the place to get deep.
but like rock and roll, like, and this was actually I got this all from NWA's introduction to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like, if anybody, because like Gene Simmons of all people went off on the NWA because they were inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he's like, they're rap hip hop gangsters. They don't belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And Dre stood there and he's like, listen, rock isn't about, you know, a category or a genre. Rock and roll is about spirit. Look at bluegrass. Look at the jazz. Look at the old, dirty, gritty South stuff that you would categorize as not rock. That's what started rock. Like, there's everything all invented. Rock and roll is a spirit. It's deeper within. It's not a genre or a clique or anything like that. So I was like, you do it, Dre. You go, brother. You tell him.
Damn right. No, I agree with that 100%. And I usually try to maintain that whenever I don't like something about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, I try to keep that in mind and be like, don't hate on it because other people hate on the shit.
Well, then it's like everybody was hating on the Dolly Parton thing, and Dolly Parton, you know, like bless her souls. Like, you know, I'm not a rock artist, but they came back. They came back with it was like, rock isn't about a rock and roll artist. It's about, you know, you are a rock star in your own, you know, your own genre, if you want to call it that. But it's all a spirit. Like, her music is rock and roll music to the Tennessee Hills. Like,
and she wrote a song, a rock and roll song
just for the Rock
She's
Hall.
a goddamn American treasure is what she is.
So I was like,
delight.
and that's the thing is I'll never give the Hall any shit for anybody that they put in there. Like, if they do their music well and they've earned their spot, I mean, like, you've done it.
Absolutely.
I will say it has gotten kind of lame.
Oh, I
Just the
mean,
Rock
some
and Roll Hall of
picks. I
Fame.
mean, you're gonna run out of.
I'm not even saying the
You're
picks.
running out
I'm
of
talking about the
artists.
presentation.
Oh well, yeah.
You know, it's so much more like award show and like pop show now
Yeah.
than
Right.
just getting like a bunch of people together and playing shit on stage for the, you know what I mean? And that's the kind of thing I miss about it.
Right.
But now I'm bitching for no reason at all.
That's all right.
For no
No
reason.
reason.
We can do that.
But I don't want to bitch because I want to give 2 thumbs up to the fucking Wanton Bishops.
Love it.
Great call, December.
Yay! I'm so glad you liked
Two
it.
thumbs up
Yeah.
and 1 stinker.
Is that the shocker?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Add a middle finger to a fist of metal.
All right, before we get
That's a
to
Steel
the
Panther reference.
before we get to the Ozzy album, let's do homework assignments for next week.
Oh,
Okay.
Let's see. I gave. Let's see, Mike. You gave me
yeah.
an album.
No,
You give me an album this time.
Yes, I'm giving you an album this time.
Yeah.
And speaking of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame artists here, I am giving you. How familiar are you with Green Day?
Very familiar.
Nimrod?
I think I've listened to most of that, but I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I have not listened to that. I've heard several songs off that.
Yeah, I guarantee you have. It was kind of their goodbye to punk pop.
But it wasn't. We're not talking Dookie. I haven't
No.
listened to Dookie either.
So, okay. For some reason I've been on a Green Day trip the last 2 weeks. Like when you look at the
Dude, it's
body
fun
of
to
work,
go out down
Oh.
a Green Day.
There's
rabbit
six.
hole.
There's 6 first albums. There's 6 first albums. Were certified amazing albums, and bands play 40, 50 years looking for 6 albums as their first 6 albums. They had Dookie, they had Insomniac, Nimrod, a B track from all the albums before that that was amazing.
Maybe it was Insomniac that I listened to.
So that was
Not
their second album. That was a very dark, angry album, but it was fine. It was still good. And then capped off with American Idiot, which was more of a emo rock opera, but I won't give you that one.
American Idiot was good.
It was a great album.
Yeah.
Love that. Nimrod, 25 years old this year.
Nimrod. Okay.
Nimrod. So you can listen to the
Perfect.
20. You can just listen to the regular Nimrod, but they have a deluxe edition.
I think
they
I
just
might
released.
listen to the whole thing or the deluxe editions
They have a bunch
because
of
I
live
know I'm
stuff
going to
and
like
that
it.
stuff. Yeah,
I know I'm going to like it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good album.
Cool.
But I went back to the old roots. That was actually one of the very first albums I ever owned, or very first
Oh,
CDs
shit.
I ever owned. Nimrod. Green Day.
Right on. December,
Yes.
you are giving Michael a
Oh.
homework assignment.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Michael Stevens.
Oh God,
you
I'm so
have-
sorry for the last album. Please don't do it to me.
No, it's fine. It's
You son of a bitch!
I'm going to make you listen
It's
to.
fine. I am trying to connect the dots. You are very emo, like emotional. You know what I mean? Like everything you've given so far has been very emo driven and all of that.
Yeah.
So my
Oh God.
version of like an emo.
he's
Pet-
kind of fragile.
Is she gonna give me a Depeche Mode
No,
album right now or
I'm
something?
not. I'm trying to be kind here.
Oh
Shut
wow.
up.
So you're giving me a non-emo album.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, like an album that is in my top 5, gives me the feels every time I hear it. I
Okay.
can hear it 500 times in a row. It's Dave Matthews Band,
Oh,
Busted Stuff.
Really?
love me some Dave Matthews.
This album just.
I can honestly say I've never listened to an entire album of Dave Matthews, but I know a lot of Dave Matthews songs. So this will be
okay.
great.
Shut up! I'm so excited.
Yeah.
All right.
Which one
here we
was
go.
it?
Busted Stuff.
Oh, was that the one with what
It
made
was
him
the-
popular?
No.
Okay.
So this album was originally labeled the Lily White Sessions.
Okay.
It got leaked, and then after it got leaked, they like redid it and refigured it, and then just released it anyway and called it Busted Stuff.
So I think the Dave Matthews, when they became popular in public, was Crash Into Me, but I don't know which album that
Yeah.
was off of.
Yeah, that's really one of the only ones I
that's
know.
like their second album.
Second album? Okay. Which
Yeah,
one is
and
this?
This is like their third or fourth studio
Does this
album.
have the Army of Ants one or the Ant
Nope.
Army? Oh,
Nope,
dang
this
it. That's
one
like one of
is-
my favorite songs ever.
This 2002. So let's
Okay.
see. This is their third album. Yeah, it's their third studio album. They did Remember Two Things, which was just an EP.
Mhm.
It only has like 4 songs on it. Under the Table and Dreaming. Oh no, it's their fifth one. No, it's their fifth or sixth one. Holy
Wow.
crap.
Okay.
So yeah.
I know they have a big body of work. Obviously, they're still doing stuff. So
Right.
Yeah.
And this band is very good studio, but anything live, if you can see them live,
yeah.
listen to them live, 10 times better.
I've seen their live stuff quite a bit. I
Yeah.
think I actually watched a live concert a whole way through. Yeah, their shows are phenomenal. There's people that will not go to a concert. Anytime Dave Matthews is anywhere near Michigan, they pay top price front row.
Honestly, that's one of those bands that I've heard about forever and I've heard is great, but I've heard like 2 songs, 3 songs, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's always good, but I'm just like, I could do without it.
Oh my God.
They're musicians.
They do a cover of Johnny Cash's Long Black Veil.
Yep.
It is my all-time
song.
favorite. All-time favorite.
All right.
So
Cool.
there you go. Michael
All right.
Stevens.
Thank you.
Gonna hit you right in the feels. Right in the feels.
Right in the
Gonna
feels.
hit ya.
I
And
can't
this
finish.
is
I couldn't
the
finish the album
feeling.
because I feel too
Feeling.
much.
Do they call that verklempt?
Yes.
Verklempt. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm verklempt. Was that Mike Myers?
Yeah.
SNL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the character name that he did with it? It was
I can't
it was
remember.
Linda something or other, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was based off of the movie he did.
It was Coffee Talk.
Coffee talk.
Coffee
Yeah.
Talk. Right.
Coffee
yeah.
Talk.
Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yep. December, I have 3 options here.
Oh.
Okay, let's go
Pick
down the
one.
list. Well, I'm going to go down the first one and see if you've heard it. I say that everybody from Michigan has to have heard this album, or else you cannot claim to be from Michigan. You are from Toledo, Ohio,
Ew.
but you're a transplant.
Technically, she was part of Michigan way back in the day. We own Toledo.
That doesn't count. She wasn't alive then.
That's true.
Actually, I'm from a little tiny town 3 miles north of Toledo, Ohio, called Lambertville, Michigan.
It's
so-
all okay. So that's Michigan.
I lived in Michigan. I was born in
just
Toledo.
wanna get
So-
a little practical on this.
So okay, December, you had to have heard Live Bullet from Bob Seger, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, then skip it.
Absolutely. It was
Never
my
mind.
dad's favorite.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's move on. Have you ever heard the live album from Blue Oyster Cult, Some Enchanted Evening?
Oh,
Absolutely.
we can do live.
You've heard that?
I've seen them
We can
live.
we
Oh,
can do
fuck.
we can
And
do
heard
live
it.
albums.
Yeah.
Oh, damn!
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd give somebody
How about
101.
Faith No More Angel Dust?
Faith No More.
Angel Dust. Yeah,
I've
from
heard
Faith
that
No
one
More.
too.
You've heard that one? Fuck!
Should I give her another one?
No, I'll find one. Give me a second. I had 3 options here.
That's why I asked you if you heard Green Day. So it's like it's Green Day. Everybody knows Green Day.
Well,
have you
right,
listened
but
to
I
the
had
album?
3 options. Did you have 2 more options? And I did hear Green Day. I just
Oh
haven't
yeah,
heard
I
that
can
album.
give you a bunch of options. I have a list of albums.
All right, December. I wasn't going to go with another album I reacted to, but I just recorded this reaction for this album. You ever listen to the Pogues?
No.
Oh, perfect. And
Perfect.
since you're into the Dropkick Murphys, you will love this. It is the Pogues, Rum Sodomy, and The Lash.
Okay. Perfect.
Rum sodomy.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know what to make of
It's
that.
an Irish
Rum sodomy.
It's an Irish punk from the 80s, and it is fucking stellar.
Is it like British punk from the 80s? Like
I don't
Sex
know.
Pistols?
No. No. I don't know. Well,
never mind the Bullocks.
no, it is nothing like that.
God save the Queen.
Think Dropkick Murphys and Flogging Molly, and it's essentially a influential band for those bands.
Super Irish, yeah.
Yeah.
Got you.
All right. We did
Patient
it.
number
Did we open
9.
Rock and Roll Minds today?
We did.
I feel like we did.
Fucking A.
Fucking hell.
1.5.
I give it actually 2 and a bourbon.
2
There
and a
you go.
bourbon.
What are you drinking? TC whiskey?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm drinking TC whiskey. Duh.
Fun.
Uh-huh.
All
I
right.
enjoyed it.
I think that was a successful rock and roll round table. We opened Rock and Roll Minds,
We did.
and you guys are awesome. Hey, we want to try for another 2 weeks or so?
Sure.
Yeah, 2 weeks sounds good. I'll have another snowstorm brewed up by
Roughly
then.
somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Another snowstorm, so I can't sit in there with my
Uh,
bro.
That'll happen sooner or later.
Sooner or later.
Sooner or later.
Is that the first week of March?
Rumor has it eventually.
In 2 weeks, I'm on MTM, so I should be able to, as long as we get done at a reasonable time.
Okay. We'll start earlier.
right.
Get done earlier.
If that's okay with you.
Yeah. Just let me know what time so I can get out earlier.
All right. Sweet, you guys.
Thanks.
Until next time, let's do this whole outro thing.
Love your face.
Thank you.
Bye.